Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Siddhi Audi, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. Uh, Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to the technical session 9D. On the behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholar List, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 9th International Conference on Information and Communication Technology for Sustainable Development, ICT4SD 2024. The ninth edition of the conference is being held in hybrid mode. The physical event was organized in Goa, and the virtual event is being held via Zoom meetings. I hope you will enjoy this knowledgeable and interactive session throughout the day. In this session, in total, we will be having 10 presentations, and each presenter will be given a time span of 8 minutes to give their presentation, and 2 minutes will be given for question and answers. I request all the participants to please respect the time constraint. And also, there is another request to all the participants that you all stay connected with us till the closing remarks. And if you have any query, update, or issue, you can just write it to me in the chat box and we'll resolve it from our side. Now, just before we get started, I would like to introduce you all to the session chair of today's session. Dr. Navneet Sharma is an associate professor at Department of Computer Science and IT, IIS University, Jaipur. He has 17 years of teaching experience of UG and PG classes, associated with various research associations and universities and consulting services, associated with more than 15 universities associations for various academic work, including PhD, thesis evaluation, etc. His research work on e-commerce, cloud computing, network securities, more than 25 research papers published in various international journals. I welcome you, sir. Thank you for being a part of this session. Now we will proceed to the.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to start with the first presenter of this session. So the very first presenter we have here is Arpita Yes, ma'am, from Mangalore University, India. And the paper title she'll be presenting on is a systematic review of free living human activities recognition FLHAR method for health research. Ma'am, you may start with your presentation. I will raise a reminder after 7 minutes so that you will be able to conclude it. Thank you.
Okay.
Now I'll stop sharing my screen.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Arpita, research scholar from Mangalore University. So I'm here to present my research paper titled A Systematic Review of Free Living Human Activity Recognition Methods for Health Research. So the agenda of today's problem statement, introduction, literature review, benchmark datasets, and research methodology, and conclusion. So my problem statement is the main issue that in this research focuses on is the thorough understanding and analysis of free living physical activities. There is a plenty of data documenting the characteristics of human motions throughout daily activities in the era of pervasive sensors and data-driven insights. Effectively processing, analyzing, and extracting useful information from these free living physical activity datasets is the difficult part. So the main goal of this research is to explore and create new methodology for the precise identification, categorization, and interpretation of free living physical activities. So these methodologies may include sophisticated machine learning models and data preprocessing techniques in order to further our understanding of how people behave in everyday in free living physical activities environment. The research aims to shed light on the possible uses of this information in a variety of areas, including smart environments, healthcare, and wellness. So, what is human activity recognition? So, human activity recognition is a branch of computational science and engineering that tries to create systems and techniques capable of automatically recognizing and categorizing human actions based on sensor data. So it is the capacity to use sensors to interpret human body gestures or motion and determine human activity or movement. So HIR systems are typically monitored or unsupervised and can be utilized in various applications, including wellness, athletics, healthcare, security, sports performance, etc. So this is a basic human activity recognition outline. So the first one, you can see the figure. Human gesture is nothing but like the activities performed by the human, such as cycling, walking, running, sleeping. So there is the activity which is the sensor which is attached in the human body. So the values or the data which is generated by the sensor we call it as a data sensor data set. So then after getting that data set, we are doing some pre-processing steps. For that pre-processed data, we are applying some machine learning models, and finally, the models which recognize the activities such as whether that human is walking, cycling. So the challenge is human activity recognition. So what are the challenges? The first one, disparity in sensor data due to gadget placement, movement variation, interference of activities that overlap, noisy data that causes distortion, time consuming and expensive data collection methods. So, what are the benefits of human activity recognition, such as weight management? So, first of all, nowadays, health is more important than anything, right? So, the first thing, weight management, reduce your health risk, strengthen your bones and muscles, improve your ability to do daily activities and prevent falls, increase your chances of living longer, manage chronic health conditions and disabilities. So, what are the trends of human activity recognition? So, okay, next, emerging trends such as body weight and calisthenics training, mindful movement practices, virtual and augmented reality, active communicating, and eco fitness. So, these are the trends of human activity recognition. Then, literature review. There are many works done in the HIR area. So, these are the papers which have done some works. They have used different sensors, sensor devices, and the activities, number of activities, and different classifiers. Then benchmark data sets. So there are several benchmark data sets have been developed by researchers to with evaluation of HAR activities related to deep learning and machine learning based solutions. So based HAR solutions, the data set consists of motion signals collected from participants, like there will be different activities. The attached sensor may be head, chest, upper arm, thighs, waist, and the smartphones are fastened to dominant hands variables and firmly fasten the aforementioned locations, and smartphones are tucked into pockets or pant pockets. So like that, the devices have a number of sensors such as an accelerometer, temperature, gyroscope, magnetometer, orientation, and the ambient sensors. So the signals extracted from the each data set display unique features associated with the subjects, physical variables including height, weight, and age. When gathering sensoring data, the subjects are instructed to perform both simple and complex. Simple is nothing but we can say cycling, walking, jogging, jumping. These are the activities. Um, like cooking, cleaning, and laundry are considered as a difficult activity. So the next table two displays the comparative descriptions of benchmark data sets. So we have a number of data set. Uh, the main characteristics of public HR accelerometer data sets. That you can see the number of data set and the type of that subject and activity and sample and the sensor, whether it's the accelerometer, gyroscope, like that. So we have many kind of benchmark data sets and the methodologies. So this is a general framework for free living physical activity. So the first thing is data collection, data which is collected by variable sensors, smartphones, smartwatch, Bluetooth. Okay, then after collecting data, so then the next step we need to pre-process the data. So the
Ma'am,
pre-process the data, yes.
sorry for the interruption. This is just the reminder for last 1 minute.
Okay, so these are the pre-processing steps. then it contains filtering, feature extraction. Then after data pre-processing, we are applying model for that, like such as machine learning and deep learning models. Then the last step is model evaluation. So as I said, first thing is data pre-processing. In that includes filtering, feature extraction, feature selection, segmentation, and normalization, dimensionality reduction, and missing value imputations. So these are the pre-processing steps. Then, as I said, after pre-processing step, we are applying machine learning models such as random forest decision trees and deep learning models. The last step is the model evaluation. Yes, as a conclusion, this is a systematic review that explores the field of free-living human activity recognition, highlights the role of that precise monitoring systems they play in enhancing public health and preventary sedentary behavior. The study emphasizes the crucial role accelerometer-based technologies plays in identifying people's levels of activities through an analysis of several methodologies from data collection to model deployment and optimization. So to some, furthermore, it elucidates the potential applications of FLHER systems in multiple domains, including as healthcare, sports monitoring, and human-computer interaction. Despite these developments, issues with enhanced data quality, obtaining features, and optimizing models persist. Further research to properly add to them. To sum up, integrating state-of-the-art machine learning models with the reference data sets provides a feasible for the direction for FLHR methods, fostering the more general goal of growing physical activity tracking to enable public health outcomes. So thank you for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Now, are there any questions or shall we proceed to the next one?
I have one question. Can you
Yes.
conclude your work within 2-3 lines?
Yeah, sir. So first of all, I'm going to work in the free-living human activity recognition. So there will be a number of work done by HIR. So I'm going to work like particular in the free living physical activities. So there are less work done in the free living physical activities, which is help for the elderly, elderly people. So my name is to help finding the activities for those people. So I am trying to use different methodologies to predict the activities, human activities.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we will proceed to the next presenter. So the next presenter we have here today is Poonam Dugatra, ma'am. And the paper title she is presenting on is a systematic survey of data sets using a face generation using deep learning.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to present the work, the thing that I have studied over here. The topic of my presentation is systematic survey of data sets used in face generation using deep learning. So I am just starting my PhD. So this is my first review paper that I have written. uh, First of all, what about the face generation? This is a very revolutionary thing that is happening right now. It has revolutionized the computer vision, which enables the realistic synthesis of human faces using the generative adversarial networks or variational autoencoders. Now, this thing is very important in nowadays because there are so many applications where we can use this. We can use this in criminal identification, or we can also use in defining the characters for the animation movies or the movies that we can plan. There are so many data sets which are available. An image data set that image data set that we can currently explore they provide the raw material for training. Uh, just for training, enforcing the diversity, quality, and generalizability of the generated faces. So the main aim is to generate the faces by using some input like text or some other things, but there has to be the diversity quality of the images. The main objective of my research is
Your
to guide.
slides are not moving. Please
Okay,
check it.
and now is it moving?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on the second slide now. So the objective of my this present work is that I want to give a guidance about the state of the art data sets available in the domain of the human face generation, so that the scope and performance of deep learning models for face generation systems can be enhanced further by designing new approaches by improving different existing techniques. In the literature study, I have done the study of around 60 papers, 60 or more papers, and the main focus of study was for identifying that what are the different data sets available and what are the different data models which are available for face generation. And I just studied that what are the different models which are using, which are working on different data sets which are already available. So the methodology that I followed for this review is that collection of related literature and analysis of the selected work. The selected the keywords to explore the conference and journal papers from scientific databases and scientific indexing services like IEEE Explore and Google Scholar. The search keywords used were like data sets for face generation with deep learning, human face generation with AI data sets. I've studied more than 150 papers, explored them, and on the basis of the domain, around 86 papers were examined closely. And from them, the 40 papers were identified which mention the role of different data sets used with different face generation models. And out of them, 36 papers were examined for understanding various features of data sets used by different researchers. Among the final selected papers, 55 papers belong to Scopus Index journals and rest of the papers were belonging to the reputed journals. So in the methodology, I wanted to I the main question that my research was focused on, that what is the size of various data sets in the terms of number of images, what data sets have been used by researchers for face image generation, and which deep learning models have been used for face generation. So in literature, yes. This is the finding and trends that I have collected after reading all these papers. There are so many different type of data sets available, and according to the size and image count, as image count means less than 10,000, so many data sets are available. Between 10,000 to 50,000, these data sets are available. Out of this, Celeb AHQ is the most popular one because it is having high quality images, which is very important for generating the realistic facial images. And 50,000 to up to 1 lakh, there are these data sets. Then the best data sets that are currently being used are Celeb A and BGG face. Now the categories of images in different data sets which can guide the
You are
researcher.
talking about the data sets. Sorry to interrupt you. You are
Yes,
talking about the data sets on the basis of the published papers,
yes,
or you
yes.
have seen, or you have seen all these data sets.
I have seen a few of these data sets, but I'm talking about that which data sets are being already used in face generation model.
Okay.
Okay, so since the face generation involves different type of parameters, and the main parameters can be the age and gender, the ethnicity, kinship, expressions, emotions, and the famous celebrities or the visible and thermal features. So on the basis of that, the from the studied paper, I have categorized that for the age and gender, Asian face group morph market 1501, MFR2 face forensics plus plus redwood faces, BU. These are the these are the data sets which are basically having the images which are related more to the age and gender. Out of this, the more family 101, they are more related to the ethnicity. That means if we want to generate faces for Asian people or for African people or for the white people or for black people, we can use such type of data sets. Then for expressions and emotions, these data sets are being used, which can help us in defining the images like facial images like a smiling face or a sad face. Then celebrity faces are most commonly being used for generating the faces, and the most popular one are Celib A and Celib A HQ. Thermal and visible features, they are used in the CAL and PUC VTF. The CAL, that we have to take permission from the developers who have generated these data sets. Now, these are the different data sets which are being used for different image generation models. On the left-hand side, these are the generative adversarial networks based models which are currently being used, which is DCGen, CycleGen, CGen, StyleGen, PGen, StyleGen 2, AttentionGen, and last one is the variational autoencoder mode. So we can see over here from this study that Celib A is the most popular among most of the developers who have been using different type of models for generating faces. The rest of the data sets are maybe popular, but these are not very thoroughly used in generation of the database of face human face images. And you can also see from here that FFHQ is one of another one which is very commonly used with StyleGAN model. Now, coming to the conclusion, from all the study that I've done, I have concluded that a larger and more diverse dataset allows the model to learn better representations, generalize effectively, and produce more realistic and varied faces. So, whenever if I am going for this research, I will be looking for a larger and diverser dataset for my work. Larger dataset will lead to model generation, capturing variability, reducing overfitting, improved feature learning, robustness to noise, and data imbalance. Big data sets like BGFace, Celib A, HQ, LFW, FFHQ are widely used in face generations since these help in efficient training of models. Since they have huge amount of images which are where every one particular person may be shown in different type of moods or more emotions. So these bigger data sets are very helpful in efficient training of the models. Then in finding out the in defining the more data sets for future, addressing challenges such as bias, imbalance, and privacy concern while promoting the diversity and standardization is essential to foster fair, inclusive, and ethically sound research in this field. Most of the data sets are collected from the platforms which are available on the internet. So whenever we are using such images, the data set that we choose must have these things there, that they must be they must address bias, they have the balance, and they should address the privacy concerns, so that if we are using those data sets while our research, there should be no any type of legal issues. So that is all about my work. And then future research direction in this field will be: the current study has highlighted that efforts are needed to curate data sets that adequately represent the variability in facial attributes. Then establishing guidelines and benchmarks for data set quality and performance evaluation is essential. So data sets are being made, they are being curated. So there should be some guidelines or benchmarks so that the people who are working in this field must have good quality data sets. Better sampling strategies, continuous updates, and maintenance are essential to create rich data sets for diverse and challenging scenarios. Then establishing mechanism for long-term data set evolution and curation is necessary to support ongoing research advancements. That's all from my side.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. So the next presenter we have here today is Kanika Panwar, ma'am, from Sardar Patel University of Police Security and Criminal Justice, India. Ma'am, are you present in the meet?
Yes.
Kanika?
Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You may start with your presentation now.
Yeah.
I'll
I
stop
am
sharing my screen.
okay. I am sharing my screen. So is it visible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am, you are visible.
Right. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present my paper over here. The paper is related to a taxonomy of big data challenges in social science research. So this is a joint paper with me and my colleague. So I'm going to present it today here. So as you can see, the paper is about big data and its challenges in social science research. So we all know that big data analytics has revolutionized the social science research also by enabling the extraction of valuable insights from extensive and diverse data sets. So this paper examines the challenges and methodologies which are involved in the big data analytic process within the field of social sciences research. So as we all know that there is a growing popularity of big data, and it has brought the attention of social scientists adapting to the state-of-art models also. So in this paper, we are going to present a concise overview of research challenges in big data analysis for social science researchers. Like how do we use big data in social science researchers, and what are the possibilities of doing it? Additionally, we are going to provide a taxonomy of big data research specific to social science, outlining key considerations and methodologies. And finally, we will conclude the paper by discussing the future directions. So as we can see that, I hope you can see this diagram. This is about the rise in publication counts related to keywords like big data, social sciences, sociology, and computational social sciences. And we can see that the social scientists are also taking great interest in the development of big data, and they are using the big data technologies, cloud computing, distributed systems, and machine learning, etc. And they are looking for these technologies in their research also. So we can see the big data, social sciences, and big data in sociology, they are all being used by the various social scientists. So talking about the methodology, we in this paper discussed the research challenges in the field of big data for social science researches, and it was based on bibliometric techniques which permitted a robust analysis of big data research and also social science publications at different levels. So for the analysis, the publications we selected were based on the keyword search in the title of the papers. Now, moving on, this paper discusses about big data analytics, which encompasses a complex process designed to extract meaningful insights from various or vast data sets. So as per the researches we have observed, this process is typically divided into three key phases like data collection, analytics, and data representation. So in the social science research, how big data is being used. So data collection. The initial phase involves gathering data from diverse sources such as social media platforms, online transactions, and wearable devices. So this data collection process is crucial as it lays the foundation for subsequent analysis. But it presents various challenges, including the need to clean, organize, and process the data to ensure its suitability for analysis. Moreover, we can also say here that the data may be stored in different formats and structures. And in social sciences, we are not able to use the data as such. So we have to additionally collect the data, prior stored data or incoming data stream, or combination of both kind of data, depending on the source of data types. Then moving on, data analytics. So once the data is collected and stored, it undergoes processing and analysis to uncover patterns and trends. So this phase employs various techniques, including algorithms and statistical methods to extract insights from the data. And stream processing and batch processing all are utilized here for data streaming, etc. So in this process, it employs various machine learning algorithms as well as statistical methods. So we have to obtain the result from all these processes and merge them into a cohesive model. Then the last thing of data analytics, this portion is data representation. So we have collected the data, we have analyzed the data, cleaned and done everything. Now we are going to represent this data in form of visuals. So in the final phase, the big data analytics process, insights are derived from the analysis and are visualized and communicated to the stakeholders in form of charts, graphs, dashboards, etc. So by looking at these visualizations, the stakeholders are able to quickly grasp key findings and trends, and thereby it aids in informed decision-making processes. Moving on, further, we are going to discuss the challenges, research challenges of big data, or whatever the challenges social scientists are facing in the big data analytics. So this is the architectural diagram I have just discussed. The first are the data sources from where we are getting all these things, then the data collection, data analytics, and the data representation part. Moving on to the taxonomy of big data in social science research, we have divided it into 4 parts. First is data management, then social analytics, then the prediction and forecasting, and policy and governance part. So the first one is data management, which is the first part of the managing and utilizing data effectively. So in this section, the researchers or the studies have talked about the hurdles in social science research, especially when dealing with the extensive unstructured information. Like database creation from unstructured information, the first key hurdle we can see is structuring data sources, and over-reliance on structured data. It may introduce bias because the data is already structured and it might not suit our need as such. So there is this risk of effective management in utilization of data presentation, and it presents a kind of formidable challenge in social science research. Then the second is analytical challenges in large-scale database. So we know that robust data management and analysis strategies are like important to tackle scalability issues. So parallel processing techniques are needed, distributed computing platforms and data visualization tools, etc. are needed, which enable the researcher to extract meaningful insights from vast data set. So analytical challenges are the hardcore challenges of this data management, because not all social scientists are trained that much to analyze the data which we are getting from the all the sources as we have discussed. Now, the third thing of the data management section is from computer science into social science research. Like over-reliance, the integration of analytical approaches from computer science to social science makes a like advancement in understanding complex societal phenomena. Like we can see lots and lots of data are coming from each and every source over the internet, but there are difficulties. So machine learning and predictive modeling derived from computer science offers like it offers, yes.
Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to give a reminder about the time span.
Okay.
You may
I'll,
continue.
yeah, I'll try to move to the next slides. Like the second portion is related to the social analytics, which is about the individual and group behavior. So in this social analytics, the social sciences, mostly the psychological sciences or the behavioral sciences are using this big data challenges, and it is crucial to contextualize the findings to avoid misconceptions. Then in the next section, you can see behavioral economics. So the consumer transactions, browsing histories, online interactions, they are all being used to uncover the behavioral biases in the social sciences. Then next is opinion mining. So by scrutinizing social media discussions, news articles, and public forums, etc., we can do this opinion mining in social sciences. Next section is prediction and forecasting. So about the economic forecasting, we can see machine learning algorithms can like forecast with quite accuracy, and they can use this extensive data sets to make generalization over the financial markets. And also it can be used to estimate population size and mobility. Also the socio-political indicators, etc., can be predicted and forecasted through this data. Also disease surveillances, looking at the integrated health data, demographics, and environmental factors, we can predict the outbreak of diseases. Prediction of natural disasters also is being done through all these analysis of all these big data sets. Then policy and governance also uses all these things, comprehensive analysis of transportation data. Urban planners can identify congested areas, etc. Optimize public transportation routes. They are doing it in urban data analytics, transportation systems, demographic studies, labor market analysis, etc. So concluding, we can say that emphasizing contextual understanding and prioritizing human elements and addressing societal interests and needs are imperative for big data utilization. So this field can benefit, like we as social scientists can greatly benefit from this field by elucidating the transparent, comprehensible, and replicable utilization of big data and emphasizing its tangible contributions. So this is my presentation. I tried to finish it up in the given time. And should I...
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. Are there any questions?
Which kind of data you're talking about especially for the social science?
Sir, we have studied this paper is based on the secondary researches. So in the secondary researches, we have seen various articles in which they have talked about computational social sciences, use of social big data in social sciences, etc. So no particular data set I'm talking about, but I'm talking about all the articles, all the researches, and all the literature which is available about the use of big data in social sciences. And we have tried to derive a taxonomy and what necessities are there and what are going to be the problems while using the big data in social science researches.
Okay, now we'll proceed to the next presenter. So the next presenter is Anuj Verma, sir, and he's there in the meeting. The paper title he'll be presenting on is Gig Economy, Analysis and Monitoring, Prioritizing Privacy, Dedication, Performance, and Accuracy. I request Anuj, sir, to please start with your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. And sure, sir, I will make sure that I complete this on the time. Okay. So the title of this paper is Gig Economy and how we can analyze monitoring, prioritizing privacy for gig economers and also their dedication and performance and accuracy. Along with me, Dr. Devarshi Mehta is the co-author of this paper. So the content for the paper will be introduction of gig economy. I just want to walk through about what is gig economy is and key feature and the challenges, solution for monitoring and analysis currently available, ethical consideration in monitoring and blockchain-based reputation system, how those can be helpful. And that's one of the proposed solution for this, and policy development and recommendation, and also the methodology and finding. So I will move to section 1. Gig economers, as we know that is characterized by temporary freelance and short-term job facilitated by digital platform. I can say a person who deliver your food from Zomato is a gig economer, a part of gig economy. Same way a driver for Ola and Uber is also a part of gig economy. How the transformation has been done, the gig economy offers flexibility, a variety of work opportunity, and relies heavily on the digital platform for the job matching. And obviously it's give the benefit to user to work on their own rules and regulation up to an extent. And research purpose, the main purpose of this research is the area is to find the best possible solution to overcome the biggest challenge employer face, including lack of direct oversight, quality control, and feedback mechanism. Key feature of gig economy, flexibility. The gig economers or gig worker, we can say they are flexible. They choose the flexibility to on their with their own rules and own timings. Variety of work. For example, I can just give an IT person who is good into multiple skills, and if he need to take multiple works through this platform, like a work of ever, he can take. He can work on multiple technology on the same time based on his skill set. Digital platform. There are many digital platforms, and basically this gig economy is around digital platform only. And the digital platform either name like application like Zomato or the platform available like Fiverr, Upwork, and so on. The challenges normally what we face is like trust and transparency. This is the biggest challenge. Even I experienced this. Trust between gig workers and employee can be fragile, especially when monitoring is perceived as intrusive or unfair. Sorry for this. Okay, lack of standardization. There is lack of standardization in this entire community of gig workers and legal and regulatory risk. There are many countries, I'm not only in India, but there are many countries, there are different rules and regulation, and those also conflict many times with the employer and the people who are working with gig economists. Key features and the challenges. Before highlighting that, I will just quickly say what is the birth of gig economy. Obviously, the technological advancements, the way with where the technology is advancing, and also the shift in work preference now generation, or even we can say new generation, they prefer to work on their time. Some people love to work at night, some people work in day, but they need to work on their time. And also the globalization, the way the entire globe has been connected with internet, and anyone with the right skill set can work for the company located in any part of the country. That's the globalization. Mainly pros and cons. Cost saving, definitely is a pros for employers, right? They can hire a good gig workers, a skill set workers. They can hire, find this person globally located anywhere. Flexibility, they can work on the flexible time based on the employers as well, or demand as well. And access to specialized skills, they can ask for specific skill, or they can find a person with a special skill. Suppose if you have two projects, one project with skill one A and second is B, they can just get A done and then move to B. Diverse perspective and the fresh ideas, gig economists, gig workers are good into that, and employer can take benefit and reduce administrative burden. That is for sure. Administrative burden has been removed because they don't need to care about that. Cons, quality and reliability concerns. This is the biggest, one of the big con, and lack of loyalty and commitment. Obviously, it's difficult to get that level of loyalty and commitment for gig workers. And legal and regulatory risk with respect to country, again, apply, and limited control and oversight on the gig workers who are working for your project. Solution for monitoring and analysis. There are many solutions available, but I don't think those are up to the mark, like time tracking software, performance analytic platform, GPS tracking system, task management system, rating and feedback system, and integrated platform solution. But if we talk about the strength and weakness, some solution have offer accuracy in tracking and analysis gig workers activity, while other may prone to the errors. And also, it's many of the system compromise the privacy of the gig economists while monitoring and collecting the data. Fairness, the feedback, even there are few AI-based system, the feedback and all those are not that fair with respect to the gig workers. And complexity, the complexity is implementing and maintaining certain solution can be challenged for both workers and employee. I will just move to ethical consideration, which is respecting personal boundaries and transparency of consent. And autonomy is one of the consideration, because everyone want to, in gig workers want to work on with the flexibility time base, and also they need to balance their oversight and independence. And benefit, and also they need, many times they need to prove themselves that they actually work for that much duration of time, and protection against exploitation is definitely must for this. Blockchain based reputation system is something which can be a solution for this kind of problem, which provide a data integrity and authenticity. Privacy concern has been resolved, can be resolved using this tool, this kind of tool, which help them to keep their thing private and not expose that to employer. Interoperability and user adoption and trust can be managed better through this kind of solution. Scalability, definitely this can be scalable based on the requirement. Regulatory compliance can be managed using blockchain and AI mechanism here, and handling dispute and error can be managed through this solution. So the summary, if I talk, sorry if I was so fast, I just want to make sure I don't waste the time. So if we talk about summary, this gig economy present a range of opportunity and challenges. And if we see it as of today, it's year by year, the gig economy workers are increasing in the world. Right? Effective monitoring, analyzing solution to make sure with consideration of taking care about their privacy and their datas, and their contribution are private and not made public, is obviously one of their need. Many of these gig workers want to be part of this monitoring tool, but they just want to make sure their personal data are not compromised. Thank you. That's all from my end. Any questions?
So the next presenter we have here today is Afzal Sheikh, sir. Sir, are you there in the meeting?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. You may start with your presentation now. I'll be noting the time.
Okay, ma'am. My screen is visible?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Afzal Sheikh, Associate Professor in Anjuman Islam Khalsa Technical Campus from Mumbai. It is an honor to present my paper, which is Integrated Micropillar Cantilever Double Square Split Ring Resonator for Optical Sensing in Air and Water Medium. This is my outline of my presentation. Throughout my presentation, I will be talking about these topics. The introduction is that there is an increase in smart mobile end points in healthcare, which is commonly called as smart healthcare systems. So in urbanization growth, increase in population, there is a growth demand in for healthcare has led to a sharp increase in demand for fast, accurate detection and diagnostic of air and waterborne diseases. World Health Organization says that 30% of the population is living in areas where there is a lack of good quality of water for daily domestic requirement. So the research in sensor technology, especially sensor for bioanalyte, urine, saliva, blood, serum, etc., and water, is of prime importance as sensor form the unstructured data entry point for smart applications. So my sensor design is based on photonic devices, which acts as a sensor for by implementing a defect in engineering in design of the photonic crystal. Photonic crystal offers a small integration size and cost is very low if produced in bulk. So research progress has been done, which leads to a development of a unique sensor. Our research includes modeling and design of photonic sensor. The main focus area of our investigation is sensor design, simulation, and analysis of simulation results to optimize the design. This design can be broadly applicable to a wide range of fluids. However, our emphasis is design sensor used for air and water analysis, which will act as a biosensor for lab on chip system. So basically, what is lab on chip? It is a device, integrated device. Several laboratory functions can be done by a single integrated circuit, which is a very small millimeter size or square centimeters to achieve the automation and highly throughput. And you can see there is a lot of advantage of lab on chip, like low fluid volume requirement, fast analysis and fast response, better process control because of fast response, lower fabrication costs, and it is a compact in design for integration for having us for much functionality and small volumes. Now, the motivation given me to work on this particular area is that you can see there are a lot of death is occurring because of the contaminated water, and there are various waterborne diseases available in water, which is very difficult to detect with a normal and a faster way. So there are many costly machine setups are available, and they take very long process. So in rural areas, it is very difficult to get the faster results for detecting the water quality present for drinking and other purpose. So you can see these are the different current technologies available for detecting the different waterborne bacteria and diseases available. You can see there are these process basically takes 30 days for getting the results of the bacteria present in the water. So I have done certain literature survey in which various photonic sensors have been designed by many researchers, and they have designed for the different purpose, like for blood detection, glucose detection in blood, and then sugar level detection and other purpose. There are some people have integrated with artificial model also to get the faster and accurate results. From that, I have studied many papers, and from that I have come up with this particular sensor, which is very unique, which is basically working with the optical as well as the mechanical combination. So the methodology adopted is like we have an optical source, a laser source, then a PC-based sensor will be laser source light will be passed to the PC sensor for like photonic crystal-based sensor. Then there is a photo detector which will detect the properties, output properties of the light intensity going through the crystal, and then the signal processing unit, and then the display of the values will be shown on the spectrometer. Now, basically how the photonic crystal sensor design works, it is basically a diagnostic tool for analysis of water. Sensor is highly sensitive for the refractive index. The refractive index are of normal and contaminated water are different. Thus, it can differentiate normal and contaminated water. The transmission spectrum of normal and contaminated water is obtained. A shift in the frequency is observed as the refractive index is changed. The refractive index of the light gets changed when the light passes through the photonic crystal, and it basically works on the Maxwell equation. You can see the epsilon is the permittivity, and which is inversely proportional to the omega, which is the frequency wavelength of the light passing through the photonic crystal. So if you see that the dielectric function epsilon is equal to n square, where n is the refractive index. So if the refractive index changes, like if there is an impure water is there, the refractive index of the impure water will be different than the pure water, and due to that the epsilon value will change, and because of that the resonant wavelength, that is the wavelength of frequency, will get changed. So this shift we have to measure, and based on that shift we can understand the impurity present in the water. So this methodology is being used for designing of the sensor. So I have used software MIT electromagnetic equation propagation. It is an open source software available to design the sensor, and OPD of FDD software I have used, and then other softwares are also available, numerical software for designing this photonic crystal sensor. So this is a code flowchart which is available for writing the code for designing the sensor. I will not go through that more detail. Then this is the structure which I have designed. This is basically a double square split resonator design by using Meep code, which is an open source software code designed by the MIT. Then these are the specifications for designing the sensors. It is basically in holes in air configuration. The latest structure is square. Constant is a 1 nanometer. Wavelength I've used 1480 nanometer to 1650 nanometer. These are the different sizes. Footprint, that is the sensor size, is 42.5 micrometer square. So small the sensor is being designed, and then there is a cantilever mechanical available of which is of 1 micrometer size. So this is basically a CAD layout of my sensor design. You can see there's a sensor is placed, and over this there is a uh, cantilever beam, micro cantilever beam is available, and this is the flue path where the liquid is going to be passed, to which the sensor is going to monitor. And you can see there is a micro pillar available, which is going to be inserted in the two micro pillars are available, which will be inserted in the center of the photonic crystal, which is in holes in configuration. So this is the basically CAD layout. The how the structure basically works. The photonic crystal has a periodic array of air holes, creating a band gap that reflects a certain wavelength. Light of specific wavelength is trapped or resonantly coupled within a defect or cavity in the PSC. When the micro pillar is introduced in the center hole, it alters the effective refractive index. The micropillar generally has a lower refractive index compared to the air, so the photonic band gap is modified. When the pressure is applied, the micropillar can compress or deform. This changes in shape and size will directly affect the local refractive index or in the photonic crystal. Now, the change in the refractive index will definitely change the resonant wavelength, and this shift in the wavelength can be measured, and which will show the amount of impurity present in the water based on the molecular weight of the water. So you can see this is the another proposed sensor design layout, which is basically designed by using ANSYS workbench. This is the you can see this is the micro cantilever, and this is a micro pillar. When the fluid pass through this cantilever beam, this pillar cantilever will bend towards the photonic
Sir,
crystal. Yes, ma'am. 1 minute,
sir,
ma'am.
can you please? Okay.
This is the complete structure of my system design. These are the outcome of my waveform results from the photonic crystal for motor medium, and we have calculated the quality factor and the sensitivity of the sensor, which is given by change in the wavelength or normalized power to the change in the refractive index. These are the reading of the spectrum when it is of the light passes through the photonic crystal. when water is used for detecting the impurity present in the water, you can see the sensitivity is around 120 nanometer per gigapascal. Similarly, for air medium also, I have done the analysis for up to 6 values, and these are the results. Sensitivity is very high when air can be used, where air like gases can impure gases can be detected, and there the sensitivity is 230 nanometer per gigapascal. The air medium sensing can be done with this particular sensor for detecting the gases, airborne particles, and environmental pollutant. Water medium sensing can be done for detecting chemical pollutant, biological organism, and other contaminants. The conclusion is that the sensor shows a very good high quality factor, because in sensor two main important parameter is the selectivity and the sensitivity. So both the parameter in air medium it shows 8,000, and in water medium it shows 6,540, as well as the power transmission is around 10 to 50% in air and water medium. The future opportunities and research work is that you can have there is a key challenges to get a very good sensitivity and selectivity, and second work is the future work is the fabrication and integration of this particular sensor, and designing of theoretical and computational model. So for this I have referred, these are the different references paper I have referred. uh, and this paper, this design has been patented, and it is published, and it is going to be granted in few months of time. So thank you very much for giving me opportunity to present my research work in optical sensor, which is a very good, huge demand right now in the market. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Are there any questions or shall we proceed further? So the next presenter we have here today is Shankar Valia, sir. I request Shankar sir to please start with your presentation. And the paper title he'll be presenting on is Streamlining Classroom Operations, Prototyping an RTOS-based Smart Timetable Scheduling and Attendance Monitoring System.
Good morning, ma'am. I am an electrical and electronic student in Kerry Technological University, Hubli, and my project title is streamlining classroom operation, that is prototyping the RTOs based smart timetable scheduling and attendance monitoring system. In the no- in our normal days, uh, smart attendance system and timetable scheduling is most important in the schools and college and industrial level. For that, I have designed a timetable scheduling that is user based, and attendance monitoring system is based on the sensor that is RFID. And these are the objectives of my project: to select the appropriate input parameters from the user, to display the classroom, faculty, etc. To specify the parameters, time slots, subject, number of students attended, and that will be stored in the data. And this is a block diagram of our model, that is user presses the user input. Based on the user input, we are displaying the respective faculties details, that is time, subject, and classroom. And another one task is to attendance management, that is that is done by the sensor RFID sensor. And based on the okay huh. RFID sensor senses the data and mark the tick mark to the respective student. And this is state flow diagram, that is in our project, in our model, that is two tasks are going on, that is attendance monitoring and timetable scheduling. And we are shifting both the tasks, that is after 5 seconds, using a round robin schedule. This is the sensor for the attendance tag, and this reader reads the tag to mark the attendance. And our task one is to timetable scheduling, that is a task we have tested for the two test cases, that is for one faculty we have given a character A. When a user enters the character, then it will display the faculties, that is a JM, it is a faculty's name, and a division, and the time, and the class. And this is the another test case for this timetable scheduling. And the next task is to attendance tracking system, that is based on the detecting the RFID card, presented student and attendance promptly stored, then displayed on the LCD. And the conclusion is to this will help in smart Okay, sorry. For giving the attendance, we have used a digital one, that is RFID. Based on the RFID, it will mark attendance for a respective student. And for the timetable scheduling, that is whenever a person need to know his schedule, that is when user presses his respective character, then it will show his time, subject, and etc. Thank you, ma'am. If you have any queries, please ask.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Are there any questions or shall we proceed further?
Not from my side. You may proceed.
Okay. So up next we have here Vaishali Thakur ma'am from Anand Pharmacy College, India. Vaishali ma'am, are you in the meeting? Vaishali ma'am, you're there in the meeting. We can see you. I think your mic is.
Yes, ma'am. My screen is visible and I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible and we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So again, very much thankful for selecting my paper. The main objective of my presentation is to apply the artificial neural network technique in development of antimicrobial foam-based formulation for the treatment of bacterial vaginosis. So bacterial vaginosis is one of the most common infection. It is commonly seen during the reproductive age of the woman. And the main causative reason is change in a pH of the vagina. And in order to treat disease condition, the various kind of treatment and therapy is available. And metronidazole, it is considered to be a gold standard or first line therapy for the treatment of bacterial vaginosis. Now, majority of vaginal infection can be treated by the variety of vaginal formulation. So these are the list of metronidazole vaginal formulations are available in market, and it's all the doses found. They are having its own advantage and disadvantage. With respect to the gel formulation, it is a messy to apply. While suppository, there is a issue of leakage. While in case of tablet, it is very difficult to hold. Mucosal irritation and soft gelatin vaginal capsules are also available. So stability is another concern. So because of the limitation of existing formulation, there is need to design a novel formulation. And we are proposing the vaginal foam-based formulation. So basically the foam-based formulations are nothing but it is a dispersion of a gas into the liquid or solid, and we can reduce the particle size between 0.1 to 3 millimeter. Now, with respect to the novelty of product, metronidazole vaginal formulation till date not reported in any literature as well as in market. So novelty of my research work is we are developing the vaginal foam-based formulations. These are the few advantages of preparing the vaginal-based formulation. The most important benefit is here. It can be sprayed uniformly, viscosity is less, and this product is free from the propellant and hormonal free. Therefore, it should not produce any kind of harmful effect for those women who are pregnant or feeding the baby. So these are the few advantages which is associated, because pregnant women, they are more susceptible to the such kind of infections. These are the few vaginal foam-based formulations are available, but that is used for the different purpose. It is used for the contraceptive purpose and it is used for the cleaning purpose. But metronidazole vaginal foam-based formulations are not available in market. So the main objective of our formulation is we wanted to develop the formulation, we wanted to do the characterization, we wanted to apply the principle of quality by design or artificial neural network in order to optimize the formulation. And we wanted to compare our preparation with the marketed products. And finally, we are evaluating the efficacy by performing antimicrobial study. The formulation can be developed by mainly three ingredients. One is the surfactant, second is the film forming polymer, and foam stabilizer. Here lactic acid is incorporated to maintain the acidic environment of the vagina, so restoration of pH. At the same time, polysorbate, it is added as a surfactant which is responsible for the foaming property. Again, we are using the two different polymer. HPMC K4, it is basically designed for mucoadhesion, so it can be adhered at the site of the vagina. At the same time, HPMC E5, it is added as a foam stabilizer. So during the preliminary trial and screening, the various kind of polymers are selected, and we were evaluated the foamability or foam stability, and finally, we were screen out the different three polymer for the development of the formulation. So HPMC E5, HPMC K4M, and polysorbate. So polysorbate is a surfactant. These are the procedure we were adopted for the preparation of vaginal foam formulations. And the ratio of all the polymer are selected based on IIG guideline, inactive ingredient guideline. Now, in order to verify the reaction between the drug and excipient, that should be verified by FTIR and DAC study. And these studies are revealed that there is no interaction between the drug and polymer. So for the whatever polymer you are selected, it is suitable for the further development. As I mentioned, the different batches are prepared with the help of the factorial design approach. And we are using a design expert software, and as a dependent variable, we will chosen viscosity and percentage of the drug release at the site of the action. So that study has been done. Now, these are the many other parameters which we were evaluated, like pH, what is the drug content, foam stability, how much volume to be accuted, and what is the dose of the drug per accutation. So all parameters were evaluated systematically. And finally, we come to know that as the concentration or as the amount of HPMC K4M is increased, the viscosity is going to increase. At the same time, the amount of HPMC K4M and E5 are increasing. The percentage of the drug release is also decreases by the HPMC K4 and increases by the HPMC E5 because it is a low viscosity polymer. This is the effect of various factors, and with the help of the design expert software, we are able to generate the polynomial equation, and we are able to predict what should be the behavior of our formulation when you selected the particular experimental domain. Now, whenever we are applying the principle of factorial design, then there are the certain limitation because predictive ability of the design software, it is a limited. So in order to achieve a better predictive ability, we are doing the further optimization of formulation with the help of artificial neural network. So we apply the artificial neural network software. Now, basically, we try to compare the parameter or the performance of our dependent response in terms of a root mean square error. So we calculated the roots mean square error with a experimental design approach as well as the artificial neural network. And if we are doing the comparison, we came to know that RMS value of ANN network has a comparatively less and better predictive ability as compared to DOI. So with that consideration, we were done all the comparison. These are the output after applying the artificial neural network. We were used the demo version of Neuro Solution 7 software. And from that software, we were identify the linear Tanha axon model. It is found to be more suitable for our both the response. Y1 is the viscosity and Y2 is percentage of drug release. Now, these data are revealed that there is a minimum value of RMSE. So it exhibited the better predictive ability as compared to any other function. These are the activation function for the implementation of the hidden layer of artificial neural network. Now here we made a comparison between the results of DOI and ANN, and it is clear.
Sorry for the interruption, but you have to conclude the presentation within 2
Yes,
minutes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Within 1 minute. So now the results are revealed that the RMSE giving of ANN giving a better predictive behavior as compared to others. Similarly, we will do the comparison on antimicrobial activity, and the results are compared with the marketed formulations. And the results are really reveal that the foam-based formulation have a better zone of inhibition and diffusivity. So it is a comparatively better antimicrobial efficacy as compared to existing formulations. So here the conclusion of my project work is metronidazole-based vaginal formulation can be formulated with the help of HPMC-E5, K4M, and polysorbate. The design expert software as well as artificial neural network software is applied, and we try to optimize the ratio with a better predictive ability. And finally, whatever the formulation we are suggested, it is a best spreading property as well as good viscosity and antibacterial activity. So here, this dosage form may be safe for pregnant and breastfeeding women because of we are not using any kind of a propellant based materials. So this is the conclusion of my work. Thank you. These are the few references. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your presentation. Are there any questions or shall we proceed to the next presentation? So the next presenter we have here in this session is Naval Lavande sir from Symbiosis International Deemed University, India. Sir, Naval sir, are you in the meet?
Yes, yes. Just give me a moment.
Yes, sir, you can start with your presentation. The paper
Yes.
title he's presenting is on technology as an enabler of sustainable smart cities. So you may start with your presentation. I'll be noting the time.
So is my screen visible? Is the presentation visible?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
So good evening, everyone. Good evening to the chair. The topic that I have researched on is technology as an enabler of sustainable smart cities. Just to give an overview of the study per se. So as a global community, we are currently grappling with a series of sustainability challenges, due to the urbanization that is intensifying and is become a global phenomenon. So there are numerous studies, empirical, exploratory, conceptual, that have been conducted that indicate the novel ways to transform urban areas into smart cities. Nevertheless, there has been no scientific mapping that's been done to map the literature that is talking about the same area. Hence, the paper or the article intends to showcase the trends in the field of technology and sustainability research through the knowledge and conceptual structures. So based on this perspective, there were few research questions that were posed. Firstly, what are the trends in terms of publications on this topic of technology and sustainability? Who are the most influential authors and journals in the field? What are the interlinkages between the three keywords? So the three keywords, of course, being smart cities, sustainability, and technology. So these three keywords, how are they interlinked? If literature can show us some trends in that, and what are the evolutionary trends in this particular field over time? So just to go on the literature, just to what literature has been saying till recent years. First is that conceptually, of course, sustainability and sustainable development are based on three pillars, right? As we all know. One is, of course, environmental protection, economic development, and social development. But Shah in a recent paper very highlighted very well where smart cities are a response to sustainability challenges. So there's climate change, resource scarcity, and unsustainable growth. And it's very evident even now when we are seeing in urban environments how this is getting impacted. The sustainable development goals that have been given by the United Nations, SDG 11, for example, aims at a sustainable city which is inclusive, safe, and resilient. So this was in terms of what literature, there's enormous literature that speaks about. Even recently, the studies are predominant. The other element was smart city and technology per se. So over a decade now, technology has been playing a pivotal role as far as sustainability and smart cities has been concerned. There are enough studies to indicate that. The newer technologies are influencing transformation much more, and they are playing a role in terms of governance as far as urban cities is concerned. Although there is definitely a more need in terms of expertise, human resources, especially, and digital transformation. That is kind of the need of the hour from studies that were done in a year back in Singapore and Hong Kong, which indicate that that expertise needs to be developed. So that's the overview in terms of the literature as far as this topic is concerned. In terms of the methodology, primarily, this is the data set that was created. Primarily, the data set is from a Scopus database, where there were around 1,828 documents that were kind of identified for this study. And then using R programming and BiblioShiny, which is a tool in R programming, was used to actually analyze the entire data. So you can see that the analysis is primarily done into 3 stages. Stage 1, of course, being the data collection. So somewhere in April, where the data was collected based on the 3 keywords that I mentioned, total publications hence being 1,828. This was followed by the bibliometric analysis, which includes descriptive, co-occurrence, citation, and co-authorship. And finally, a thematic map and a density map, which I'll be showing as part of the findings which was used. So just spending a few moments on the findings of this particular data set. So if you can notice, in the most prominent countries that have been publishing on these 3 keywords, sustainability, smart city, and technology, India clearly stands out in terms of the number of publications as well as in terms of just one second, sorry. As well as you can notice over here, so India, for example, is standing out. Also, this particular graph is showing us in terms of the number of collaborations it's doing. So the one in the green color is where primarily the authors are from Indian origin only. Nevertheless, multiple authors also kind of are included, and you can notice there is a significant level of collaboration that's happening, indicating that there's a lot of research that's being done on these 3 terminologies. Overall, in terms of the scientific production that is there for this particular study, you can clearly notice right from 2005 onwards to up till 2023, you will notice that there is a huge spike in terms of research and publications that are be happening in this area. Now, as far as the country collaboration is concerned, you can notice that the India has formed a separate cohort in terms of multiple areas and multiple countries it's collaborating with, and it is kind of standing out vis-a-vis USA and other European countries like Spain, Germany, and stuff, where again there are significant publications, but you can notice that there is a good collaboration that's actually happening across the 2 cohorts. This is again indicative that sustainability, smart city, and technology are 3 areas where the scholars are contributing and actually having an exchange of ideas that is happening as far as the studies and the literature is concerned. In terms of the word frequency, you will notice that other than artificial intelligence also playing a big role, there is IoT, which is this column. Here you can notice that there is a spike of these 3 elements that is primarily focused on one is Internet of Things, big data, and artificial intelligence. So this, even when we do a search on sustainability or technology or smart cities, relatively there is a huge spike in terms of the word frequency over time, right? So clearly you can notice that since now 2019 onwards, where the spike is really going up, this is where when in fact the United Nations gave the sustainability development goals, so the trend seems to be going up post that announcement. Another set of interesting finding is, of course, the word cloud, which clearly indicates that the 3 keywords that are throwing up are the keywords that were searched for. But again, things like Internet of Things and blockchain are also significantly important, like IoT and stuff. So it is kind of helping us understand that artificial intelligence, IoT technology is hugely playing a game-changing role as far as building sustainability and smart cities is concerned. The word tree map is another form of actually telling us which are the terms which are most commonly being cited as keywords in the studies that are there on sustainability, technology, and smart cities. And you can clearly notice that smart cities, sustainability are predominantly the 3 key words that are coming out. when I need to highlight that Internet of Things, right? So again, is kind of taking prevalence in these studies, including IoT and stuff. Another set of findings also kind of showed us the in terms of the thematic map and the density map, which was the primary objective of the study. So you can notice that as far as the thematic map is concerned, it depicts more of a relationship that is there between smart city, technology, and sustainability. So you can notice that there is an intertwining that actually is happening. So you'll notice in terms of the basic themes, it is showcasing in all the elements, right? But also in terms of the emerging themes, which means the areas of future where actually research and application should happen, is happening in big data and smart sustainable cities, hence indicating the pivotal role of technology in sustainability. If you look at the density map, it's indicating that the focus is on technology, right? And it is kind of more in terms of urban sustainability. You can again notice that the darker areas include terminologies like IoT, ICT, Internet of Things, mobility, and stuff. But in the periphery also, although they are not very much in terms of being researched right now, there are huge scopes as far as things like cloud computing or sensory
Am I
information
audible?
being. Am I not audible?
No, I was just asking if you were able to hear me. I was just trying to remind you for the time constraint.
There's 1 minute more.
Yes, we are already past the presentation time, but you can have 1 minute but please try to conclude your presentation.
So this is my last slide. So in terms of conclusion, if we have to conclude, then the study is actually showcasing a growing trend as far as the research domain of smart cities, technology, and sustainability is concerned. Technology, of course, is playing a very significant role in terms of building smarter cities. There are a lot of societal and environmental challenges that are there, which actually there is a huge amount of publications and citations that are happening, especially as far as the social challenges and the environmental challenges of sustainability are concerned. In terms of some other interesting findings, the leading countries which are actually publishing in the area is United States, United Kingdom, China, and Italy. But countries like India and Spain have shown impressive collaboration. So that's where the Indian scholars are really progressing as far as the research in the field is concerned and getting a global perspective as far as sustainability, smart cities, and technology is concerned. This was a quick review of the references, and I'm going to stop sharing. That's it from my side.
Thank you for your presentation, sir. Are there any questions or shall I proceed further? I'll just move on to the next presenter. So the next presenter we have here in this session is Varghese Kandathil, sir, from JJ International School, Ahmedabad, India. Sir, you're present with us. And the paper title is The Challenges in Developing Assistive Technologies for the Hearing Impaired, Proposal for an Alternative Socially Sustainable Approach. If you're there in the meeting, please respond.
Hello, yeah, I'm there. Can you
Sir,
hear me?
you may start with your presentation.
All right.
You are audible.
Good evening. So our paper presents the challenges in developing and assistive technologies for the hearing impaired that is socially sustainable. We also propose an alternative socially sustainable approach. So the hearing impaired primarily uses their sign language for daily communication. The automation of sign language aid in learning sign language for the hearing impaired, which is extremely important for them. This is why there has been a significant increase in the development of assistive technologies for the hearing impaired. These technologies, these technologies are hailed as inclusive. So we reviewed these developments critically from an angle of social sustainability, specifically the access to an inclusive communication. Social sustainability in this context suggests that the design and the implementations of the technology should be inclusive of the deaf community's viewpoints. The deaf community doesn't only include the hearing impaired, but also their parents, their children, and everybody who interacts with them on a day-to-day, daily basis. Similarly, the deaf community is considered as a linguistic minority who has a distinct yet overlapping linguistic culture with other cultures in which they live their daily life. With this premise, I'll take you through the findings from our literature review on the developments of the technologies. So the technologies are collectively called SLATs, Sign Language Automated Assistive Technologies. Okay. Chronologically, the first category of developments that came to be were text-to-sign language that helped the hearing impaired. They used translators and also had a database of the sign language for this. But the main issue with it was, even though the outputs product its accuracy was very low, so the hearing impaired community were unable to understand it. The second category of development was speech to sign language translation, where they use speech recognition softwares and inbuilt translators. To do this, they converted the audio into text and then from text to the sign language. Both these categories require an understanding of built-in sign language system. In turn, it made it necessary for the hearing impaired to learn the specific sign language in order for them to use the assistive technology. The small size of the database also made it a bit hard in the beginning since they were unable to represent all the words. But throughout the years, the database has increased and that's no more a problem. Okay. Now, the third category uses a natural language processing and machine translation system to perform semantic analysis of the text to generate a relatively language independent semantic structure. But it also created many grammatical errors and confusion in the semantic analysis. The fourth category that right now is still in development is wearables such as gloves, where we use motion capture to capture the motion of the sign language and then translate it to either text or audio for the hearing enabled. So as mentioned, the requirement for the use of the requirement for a user to use these assistive technologies is to be fluent in the specific sign language that they use. This pattern is repeated over the four categories. Okay. Yet in recent meta reviews, recent meta reviews, we find the lack of user proficiency as this in the standardized sign language as the main bottleneck in the widespread usage of the SLACs. As you have seen in the literature review, all the SLACs require the user to know a specific sign language they implement in the SLACs. So to make this happen, the solution that was brought up was to standardize sign language. Now we will be talking about how the standardization of sign language affects the social stability. Now, standardization of sign language will lead to the loss of linguistic heritage and linguistic culture, which connects the hearing impaired to the local community, isolating them from their community. I'll give you an example of the isolation that occurs. Okay. So a standardized size. So an example would be Indian Sign Language, which we are currently standardizing in India. It uses to process morphology and phonological processing. Okay, morphological processing is when each idea or word is given a specific sign, and we string these ideas and words together to create a bigger idea. Over here at the right, I have an example where we have the idea grown up and boy and have its signs. We combine it together to get the idea man. Now the problem that we're facing is that many of these signs, they are very culture specific. And an example would be the sign for married woman in ISL. You touch the nasal nose group to indicate a woman wearing a nose ring, which in some cultures means the woman is married. But in many cultures in India, we see that this is not true. And we also find it that sometimes women who are not married also wear nasal nose rings. Okay. Now this in turn, when we force them to, when we standardize the sign language, all the cultures are forced to study this type of sign language, which is not related to their local culture. So because of this, they get isolated from their local culture. Yeah, I'll skip through phonological processing because we don't. I'm under time pressure, so I'll go straight away to the next point. Okay. So all these issues related to social sustainability come from the user-centered approach they use. This means that the standard system is created for a specific user, and then we try to make the hearing impaired into that user, a user that is proficient in sign language in this condition. And in this condition, it would be the ISL, Indian Sign Language. Hence, we need to differ and find a new approach. So this is one of the approach we talk about. So an approach, one approach that we can use is the culture-centered design that we adopt from the human-computer interaction literature. Within this design parlance, it is often practice-based approach with 4 iterative stages: culture analysis, designing, testing of the design, and its evaluation. Based on the feedback from the evaluation process, the design is reformulated and again tested and valued. This cycle goes on until the evaluation by the user from the cultural viewpoint is satisfied with it. In this process, culture is often reduced to a standardized checklist for easiness based on the analysis. It also does not take into account the connections of specific cultures with the other cultures. This disconnect can be overcome with a more recent development, the human-centered approach in also comes from the human-computer interaction literature. So, unlike the
Sir,
culture-centered approach, yeah.
sorry for the interruption, but you have 1 more minute to conclude the presentation.
Skip. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll be able to do it. Okay. So unlike the culture-centered approach, the approach is not just customized or generic culture-centered design to a specific culture, but the attempt is to retain the links between the uniqueness of minority cultures and its overlap with the large culture in which the minority has their day-to-day lives. Okay. In this approach, accordingly, users are not considered as just informants of the design, but also informats of their culture and the other cultures in which they live in. Designers who typically come from the larger culture will need to immerse in the minority culture. For example, a long experience within the deaf community and the outside large community. They have to play a dual role of both insiders and outsiders. Following this approach, we try to develop the initial state of an initial thoughts and experiments on a human-centered design for the hearing impaired. So this is a tabulated version of what we have done. Yeah. So this is actually the initial proposal stage, and there's a lot more thought to put into it. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Now, are there any questions or shall I proceed? I guess let's move on to the last presentation of today's session. So this is the very last presenter, SK Tosif Rehman sir from National Institute of Technology, India. The paper title he's presenting on is Towards Continuous Availability, Implementing Proactive Monitoring for AWS Hosted Web Applications with Jenkins and Bitbucket. Tosif sir, are you with us in the meet? If yes, then please respond.
Yes, so my name is Sheikh Tausir Rahman, and currently I'm working as an assistant professor in UPS Dehradun, and my co-author is Dr. Vijay Verma, who is my also a co-author, also my MTech dissertation guide in NIT Kurukshetra. So the title is Towards Continuous Availability, Implementing Proactive Monitoring for AWS Hosted Web Applications with Jenkins and Bitbucket. Okay, so as an introduction, I'd like to say that day by as days are passing by, the importance of cloud computing is increasing. Popular cloud services like AWS, Google Platform, Cloud Platform, and Azure is increasing day by day, and so is the importance of web applications like Bitbucket, GitHub, Jenkins, and so on are getting more and more hosted using these public cloud platforms. But with them, few challenges are coming. Is during the course of a year, there are many times when these cloud platforms are facing outages, like they are getting suddenly stopped. That may be some problem with the AWS or the GCP side, but due to this, the services which are hosted on these cloud platforms, they also get affected simultaneously. So in such cases, what happens is there is a widespread chaos as to why is the what problem has happened, due to which the web service like Bitbucket and all, which has tens and thousands of users, are facing problem. So for this, I felt that there need to be a robust solution to counteract this problem and to reduce the downtime in case there is a sudden cloud outage in a web service, resulting in the stopping of a web service. So in this particular paper, I have done an experimental, I've created an experimental system which shows how we can create a automated monitoring and alerting system in case there is a sudden cloud outage. So in the problem description, I have said that the proposed solution which I have formulated is I have used Jenkins and Python scripts to proactively monitor cloud-based Bitbucket instances and notify users in case there is availability issues. If we speak more, then let's say there is Bitbucket which is hosted in Amazon Web Services, and in case there is some problem in the Bitbucket server or in the AWS server and Bitbucket gets stopped due to some reason, then what will happen is a Python script will continuously keep running with the help of Jenkins, which is another DevOps tool, which will keep running the Python script every 15 minutes. And in case there is some anomaly in Bitbucket, then it will send an end user mail to all the end users of Bitbucket that there is some anomaly with Bitbucket, so that the downtime is reduced. It won't actually solve the problem completely, but at least tackle the situation for the time being. So by this, we can say that I have helped in improving the reliability, increased the user trust, and created a efficient cloud infrastructure management system using this experimental work. Now, there were some related works which some people who have already created such kind of experimental setups. Among them, the first one is Yong Peng and ICWU. They have, in the year 2020, they have published a research journal which is titled "A Cloud-Based Monitoring System for Analyzing Performance in the IoT Industry." Here, they have created a real-time performance monitoring and fault detection system, which is based on IoT. That is the authors Yongpen and IC Wu, they worked in a particular organization, and within the internal um system of the organization, they created a monitoring system which monitored a particular web service which their organization hosted. And similarly, in the year 2020, Patricia T. Endo, uh, she published a research paper which titled High Availability in Cloud Systematic View and Research Challenges. Here she has clearly mentioned that why is the particular need for creating a robust monitoring and fault tolerant mechanisms in cloud services, so that we are able to detect cloud outages anytime soon it happens. Also, we can see that there are some other research papers also which have particularly researched about the importance of private and public cloud infrastructures, like let's say private cloud infrastructures, like let's say Red Hat, public cloud infrastructure, like say AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and all, and what is their importance and need in the present industry, in the present software industry. Okay, so if we go so this is the environment setup I have done to do this experimental work. We initially created a Ubuntu machine, which is like a Ubuntu Linux machine in the Amazon EC2 instance. After that, I created a security group. A security group means I have created for some particular ports like port 22, port 8080, and so on, and one more port, port 7999. Now these ports are needed because I have hosted Bitbucket. Bitbucket is a configuration management tool, and in order to host a tool like Bitbucket, we need to have some ports open in our EC2 instance so that we can connect to the EC2 instance, like let's say port 22, which is necessary for connecting an EC2 instance to an to our own Windows machine, local Windows machine. So for that I have done. Then after that I have connected, using the SSH client in the third step. Then I have installed Java in Bitbucket, in Java and Bitbucket in the Ubuntu instance by using the CLI, the command line terminal. And after that, I have installed Jenkins in the local Windows machine. Now, so what I did is basically I have, after I have set up the hardware, I have implemented some particular things, like modified them in such a manner that I have created a Python script. Now the function of the Python script was to send HTTP request. I means to say, as Bitbucket is a web service, so we have to send HTTP request like get request, which will if, like let's say, if we hit on to the particular URL of Bitbucket, then it should send us a notification, or let's say a reply, that Bitbucket is actually working, actively working. So thus that kind of thing I have incorporated in the Python script. Now also in the Python script, I have used another email notification mechanism with the help of SMTP library, which stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol Library. In this, what I did is I have configured the Python script in such a manner that if like let's say the Python script hits the Bitbucket URL and the Bitbucket URL is not functioning properly, then immediately from the admin mail, like from my mail who have created the EC2 instance, to the end users mails, like let's say I have created 10 to 20 dummy email IDs. So in those dummy email IDs, an end user mail will immediately be sent that Bitbucket is not properly working. So, and I have and to run that script in an automated manner, because the admin will not be available always to check onto the system, I have used Jenkins, which is another CI/CD pipelining tool. And I have used the feature build periodically in Jenkins, which will run the Python script every 15 minutes, so that there is continuous monitoring and our goal gets fulfilled. So thus, overall, if you look at the system, then we are able to monitor the Bitbucket server, detect the outage also, and if there is really an outage, then it will promptly notify all the end users of Bitbucket. So basically, this is the overall functioning of the monitoring system. Um, yeah. So this is what basically I have explained here. I have pictorially represented in this figure 2. If we look at the testing and evaluation, then what I did is I intentionally stopped the Bitbucket server using the command line terminal of the Ubuntu Linux machine. And after that, as the Python script was kept running every 15 minutes using the Jenkins, so whenever the Python script detected that there is actual Bitbucket server is not responding, then immediately it did send the mail and to all the end users. And I did this kind of testing multiple times so that it shows consistent results and that it is foolproof. So this is one such scenario when it did actually send the mail to the end users. All of the email IDs are created by me only, and this particular message like Bitbucket server is not responding, this thing can be I incorporated this within the Python script itself. And if we talk about the results, so the system did work properly and effective detection was there. Also, email notifications were immediate as soon as it detected, but there were still a few limitations in this experimental work is there. The current notification method is just limited to mail, but let's say there is an actual similar outage, then it should not only be notified by email, but by other ways also, like by SMS or any such kind of immediate notification thing, because the email may get unnoticed by the end users. So this kind of system which I created, it was tested on a very basic level, just on my my system, my PC. But then if we want to host these kind of solution into the practical world in the production environment, then this should be tested under a lot of loads and different kind of scenarios. And also few more future enhancements could have been made to this experimental work. Like one of them is like for a multi-channel notification. Like there are Amazon S3 storage is um, and there are a lot of different notifications which AWS uses to notify the end users. Like let's say AWS can send immediately 5,000 mails, 10,000 mails. Of course, they require some charges to all the end users. So such kind of modifications could have been made. Also, we could have directly notified by SMS to all the mobiles of the end users. So these kind of for certain enhancements could have been made. So in the conclusion, I like to say that I did develop a robust monitoring and notification system for the Bitbucket that is based on AWS, and also I have used the functionalities of tools like Jenkins and Python to do this. And basically, what I did is I increased the reliability and also gained more user trust if who are using Bitbucket as a service. Thus, I successfully addressed cloud computing challenges using automation, scripting, and cloud technologies. So, thank you. That was it.
Thank you, sir, for concluding your presentation. Are there any questions? So this is a great session, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I sincerely thank our authors for their excellent presentations and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough. We, on the behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during this 9th version and all the previous 8 versions of the conference. We will be happy to see you in the 10th version in 2025. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the papers have already been forwarded to the Springer, and the publication will be live within 6 months. So kindly cooperate with the team of ICT4SD 2024. I also thank our session chair, Dr. Navneet Sharma, for joining us here today and chairing the session. A token of appreciation to the chair on the behalf of ICT4SD 2024 and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable presence.